PPC. We're going to be talking about, you guessed it, pay-per-click today, and also a little bit about local service ads and probably a few other things that are going to help anybody that is having issues with their digital marketing or maybe just wants to generate more leads. You've got access to one of the better PPC guys out there, in terms of, generating leads from Google pay-per-click. And with that, do you want to say anything else about for yourself, Corey?
No, I think you pretty well covered it there.
Okay, awesome. I just, I'm really excited to talk to you today because you've been in the PPC world for quite some time, in the pay-per-click world, and I think right now there's a lot of, not I wouldn't call it confusion, but there's just a lot of challenges, I think, facing the the local business that we're both working a lot with. We work with, you work with a lot of small to medium sized businesses, local businesses. And, back in the day, things were very different. I mean, I remember 15 years ago when we started, there was the Google business profile wasn't even a thing. I mean, it wasn't even, it didn't even exist. And pay per click was fairly new, I think. And I don't even know. I'm trying to think way back to 15 years ago, if it was even around. But things have really changed, and businesses are really looking for ways to generate consistent, pre-qualified, pre-sold leads as at the lowest cost they possibly can. And um, I think the landscape has significantly changed, especially with Google local service ads coming onto the scene. And we're now seeing, the businesses have the ability to run Google local service ads in the Google business profile section, which used to be called Google My Business. And before that was Google Business. So with all of this happening, what are some, what do you take? What's your take on, what's going on? What's been happening over the past couple of years, and where, small to medium sized businesses or local businesses should really be spending their time, energy, and effort in order to get the best results.
Yeah, so pretty much, like even 5 years ago, people kind of were not completely sold on all the different ways that you can promote your business online, running Google Ads. Does Google Ads even work? Whatnot. But nowadays, everybody pretty much knows what it is. And so the name of the game is, can you actually do it better? Do you have a
Hmm.
better strategy than them? Because everybody wants the same customers, right? And Google can only send the customers that they know are likely to be customers to somebody. And so they kind of like they've set their systems up to play favorites more so. It's not just let's share the wealth, let's share, let's spread the customers around. They really, at least as far as what I've witnessed, really pick favorites and who they're going to send the customers to. And then not only that, but they kind of basically know with their systems have gotten really good at spotting who's a customer, who's not a customer. And so what Google wants, and a lot of people don't pick this up, they think, kind of Google's greedy or whatnot, and they just want to make as much money as possible. But Google, at the end of the day, yes, that is accurate, that's true, but they still want to be able to get people to click on ads and more so and get more accustomed to clicking on ads. And the way that they do that is they play those favorites with their advertisers. They want to see who can successfully get somebody to click on an ad at a higher rate than they had before when they click
Hmm.
on the ad, satisfying that user. And then at the end of the day, what they would like more than anything is just to find out who it is that serves their users the best and send most of the customers their way, because they can kind of analyze anymore, who it is that is likely to be a customer based upon everything that person's done in the past, their demographics, all of those different things, and then just analyzing everything that happens on Google on a regular basis.
Hmm.
Because all of the competition that you have, they've got tracking set up. They know over the last how many years who's a customer, who's not. So really, at the end of the day, you have to be able to get on kind of Google's good side, as I call it, and if you will, pay your dues to set up a system that will help users, your customers, make a decision easier, better with you than your other people that want the customers on Google, so that Google kind of just says, hey, let's send the business completely over here because this gets people what they want better, quicker, easier. And then with that, they kind of set things up so like the little guy that can't do things, that haven't invested that much in their system to get leads there on Google, off of Google very well, kind of like push them to the side, price them out of the market. Whereas if you've got to the other end of that equation, then they just keep pouring it on more and more over time. So with all that said, naturally everybody wants the local service ads. They're the best
Mhm.
leads because it's like Google putting a rubber stamp. Like this business is a great business to work with, and
Mhm.
the and get every lead you can. Problem is,
Yeah.
you're only going to get so many leads that way, and then you bring in the PPC later. Of course, you want the also the calls from the Google Business Profile and the 3-pack ranking are also very good. And I'll even admit that the lead quality, the closing rate you're going to get on the LSA calls on that 3-pack are better than you're going to get from the PPC because again, it seems like an authentic endorsement from Google, even allowing you to be there in the first place, especially with LSA. That
Mhm.
said, Google PPC, Google Ads can still be profitable. It's just going to be, like I was just mentioning before, you got to be able to step up your game and actually
Yeah.
ask yourself, how are you going to do better than your competition?
Mhm. Yeah. And doing better than your competition, what do you see as being a way to do better than your competition, with local service ads? In my videos a lot, I talk about on YouTube the 3 R's: reviews, radius, response rate. And, I think the reason why we have such a good conversion rate, or why there is such a good conversion rate with local service ads and the Google Business Profile section, which are two distinct different. Let's see. Did I freeze?
Yeah, you froze for a little bit. Could you repeat the last about 5 to 10 seconds?
Yeah, I was just saying that what if you can hear me, that the top is the
I can
Google
hear you.
local service ads. Okay, the Google local service ads section, and then down below that is the Google Business Profile section. So, what do you think is the best way to optimize that business for the Google local service ad section so that they get the most phone calls?
So for me, the fundamental principles apply regardless of which one of those individual things you're talking about. The user still wants what the user wants. On a local
Hmm.
service business and on that for a local service business, they want to know, can you do it, what
Hmm.
they came to Google for in the first place? Do you cover their area? Do
Hmm.
you service their area? And can they trust
Hmm.
you?
Yeah.
The quicker you can convey those three things to the user in your listing, in your ad, if you will, on Google, the more
Hmm.
likely they're going to be able to click on yours or call you first because you've made the job of them having to figure those three things out easier than the competition. The user doesn't
Yeah.
want to put any more work in as necessary. And so you should just ask yourself, what's the three things that or what are the things I can do to make those three things clearer than my competition? So they'll just simply beeline to me because they have to put the least amount of effort figuring that out.
Yeah, I agree. It's the reviews, radius, and response rate. It's the business that's closest to the business that's closest to the prospect that's clicking in, or that's doing a search on Google. And I would also agree that it's the business that's getting the most reviews, because that tells Google who's giving a great experience to the person. And then third, it's the response. I think the other thing I would add is that it's the response time. Are you, what do you think about, these AI systems that are out there that will, answer the phone and create a faster response time? Like, because, we know that, for example, 30 seconds is the time that really Google wants any business to answer the phone when they're coming in through Google local service ads. And same with the message leads. So, and we found that if somebody actually does answer the phone within 30 seconds consistently, and they're responding to those message leads within 30 seconds consistently, that Google will actually send them more leads. Have you you know have you do you have any experience with AI, or what do you think about AI at this point to answer not only the calls for LSA but also for pay per click?
So first of all, if you aren't answering the phone like 90+% of the time, when you're supposed to be answering it, that is like during normal business hours, you can pretty much
Mhm,
just forget about being competitive. I don't
mhm,
care, which of those three spots you're expecting to get calls from, because Google notices that, right? They notice when someone tries to call and they go back to Google and they click on something else, they say you're not serious. And why should they send the business to you if you can't do that? That said, some people take drastic measures and they say, I can't answer the phone anymore. I know how important this is. I'll hire an answering service. The problem, of course, with the answering services, if you've been around the block with that, is they do, for the most part, a pretty terrible job doing that. Now, it's certainly
mhm,
better than not answering at all,
mhm,
but almost barely better than nothing. And where the answering services, in my mind, are going to be put out of business in the next 5 years because the AI systems are getting good enough to where the poor job, at least that they do, there's no match for what the AI can do for you, at least in the local service business area,
mhm.
because you're not talking about a technical sale where the
Yeah.
customer has really weird off the wall questions. And I say 5 years they're going to be out of business, and that is only because people haven't figured out about it yet. If you get in
Yeah.
with it now, you're going to have not only a massive edge, but you're getting ahead of this huge wave, this trend of where it's going that direction, and you're not going
Mhm.
to basically be able to not have it and be competitive, because people using that's going to have 100% of answering rate with all the phone calls they're getting.
Yeah.
When everybody else doesn't have that, well, then
Mhm.
you're automatically at a disadvantage.
Yeah, I agree, and thank you for making that clear, Corey, because I talk to a lot of different business owners, and one of the things that is very clear to me when in the 2 or 3, I'd say 2 business owners I talk to daily, is that almost universally they are either not aware of the fact that that 95% of businesses, including theirs, have a response rate of like less than 80%, and they're not even aware of it, and either that, and or they're in denial about it, and or they're in denial about it and they don't think that it's actually going to have an effect on their, for example, their conversion rate and so on and so forth. I mean, if you just took somebody, like I talked to 2 business owners today that had a sub 80% response rate, meaning 20% of the calls are not being answered. What that means is that they now have another 20% more leads that they can convert. So they're gonna, whatever their conversion rate is on the 80%, you just apply that to the 20% that now they're answering the phone for, and that's what the additional amount of revenue is that they're going to be able to generate. Let alone the much better experience they're going to be able to create, and probably fewer negative reviews potentially. And then finally, because you're giving Google what it wants, Google's going to give you what you want, which is more leads. And that applies across the board for all campaigns. So it's not just local service ads, it's Google Business Profile, it's Google Pay Per Click, it's all the campaigns that are running. Yeah, and it needs to be used in conjunction. With a call tracking system. One of the reasons why we really like call tracking systems like CallRail or RingCentral, etc. I think you guys recommend CallRail, don't you? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. It's a great, it is because it's a great system. It's been around for years. It's really the gold standard. It's the one of the OG original gangsters, for call tracking, and they're great because they allow us to create a 20-second delay. So, by the way, are you seeing my video or not, or am I frozen?
It's froze still.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I can pop out and try to pop back in, but I'll just, as long as you got the audio. I the key is that we give the intake the first 20 seconds, and then we give the AI the final 10 seconds, so that we get that 100% response rate for voice, and then we do the same thing for messages. So it's really important. I mean, and we've actually even seen for some businesses like significant increases in the lead volume, even if they just improve the response time for the message leads without even doing anything for the phone leads, like, or the phone, like, in other words, if they just improve the response time for the message leads and they just keep the phone response rate the same, then we still see an increase in lead volume, and a lot of people are really surprised by that, and we were too. But yeah, it's a really, it's really great to see that, that we can get away from call services. So you're using call tracking to identify the keywords that people are typing in order to come into your platform, so that you can identify those keywords and focus on those, correct? You Is that what you're
Yeah,
using? Okay.
yeah, and doing sales tracking when you generate a sale, using that and what they typed in and who they are and what traits they have, and as much as you use as much information as you can to get another customer and keep getting more of them, and have a perpetual feedback loop going into your account that gets you more and more results.
Yes, yes. Yeah, yeah, thanks, Silver. Yeah, response rate equals leads. And I really like the fact that you're using the call tracking. A lot of people don't know that you can actually use call tracking that way, that you can actually connect CallRail or some of these other platforms to the Google Ads API or through the API in order to identify the actual keyword that people type in before they made the phone call. So you can actually see what are the most profitable words that people are typing in before they actually, buy from you. And it's all just based on looking at and analyzing the data, which I think, what other analytics tools do you use in conjunction with Google Pay Per Click? Are you using Google Analytics or anything else?
Yeah, we use Google Analytics to set up tracking goals and then import those into Google Ads. But for the most part, and this is key, you guys watching this really should know this. It doesn't have to be that complicated for you to get great results, at least with the Google Ads. And I'll speak to that because that's my wheelhouse here. If you just give Google the data about what's successful for you, what's not, in other words, what generated a sale, or if maybe you can't do that, but you can score a lead and you can identify which ones are leads that are serious. But ideally, in the home services space or local services space, I should say, what is the revenue from the sale that you generated, and then importing that into your ad account. Google's systems are very, very, very smart nowadays. And
Mhm.
you literally, the whole system will do the work for you if you're feeding in the information about what profit you made from the jobs that you're getting, so that it understands not only just how to get you a call, but which calls generally close at a high rate, which ones bring in the big jobs, which have a high ROI, and each job you get gives you subsequently more power to get more profitable jobs. You literally are just
Yeah.
stacking up. The data itself is the value to your business. The more of it you get, the
Mhm.
smarter the system gets, the more you can get out of it. So you don't need
Yeah.
anything more truly than just a way to identify what sales and profit you're making, and then making sure the system has that information, because just with that alone you're going to do so well, and your competition isn't going to bother with it because they're going to say, I don't need to do that, or I don't know how to do that. And you'll probably be the only person in your entire niche, in your local market, that does it. And it's like seeing in the dark.
Yeah.
The cheapest calls are never going to be the best calls. There's
Mhm.
That's just universally not the case.
Yeah, I like how you're leveraging the data in order to identify where to put the dollars, the marketing dollars, and like you said, you might be able to find a keyword that other people just have no idea about, just because you've analyzed the data through the combination of CallRail and or Google Analytics, which is great. And I've got a question here from Kim. And by the way, you guys ask questions in the comments. Kim Mercado, thoughts on lead disputes? I worked with Google LSA previously. Oh, okay. So Kim, so lead disputes, yeah, we lead disputes are great because it allows you or the business to get a credit at the end of the month, um, when they're running Google local service ads. That's part of what we do for the businesses that we work with, is we dispute those calls that come in that can be disputed. Now, we're not saying we dispute everything, but typically, and there's a lot of people talking about the disputation process and how they've gotten emails about it, going away. That is something that's gonna yeah, lead disputes are no longer available. I probably spoke with a few of your agents in LSA. Yeah, yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they're no longer it is going away. They said that they were gonna phase it out. We still have the disputes available, in our MCC account for all of our clients. So, as of right now, it's still available. They said they were gonna make it available or they were gonna take the disputes away sometime mid to late July, and, here we are, almost mid-August, and it hasn't happened universally yet. That process is turning into a little bit different process. It's going to be a survey process that is going to be very. It's going to be awesome because it's going to allow us to, or just another process that's going to allow us to better identify for our clients because we listen to all the calls for our clients. It'll allow us to, when we listen to the calls, to identify through this process, which ones or how to direct Google to send us better. Okay, I see how to send us better leads. Um, it already rolled out at 70%. Anytime soon, it will totally disappear. Yeah. So, and some people are you know, really excited about that. Some people are not. Google says that it's going to increase the overall number of leads that businesses have successfully disputed when Google's doing it themselves, and I think through the process that they're enabling to replace it, it could, if you fill out the surveys, if you take the time to fill out the surveys, it can actually help get you better leads. So that's a very interesting process that's going to be happening. Can it be great to hear if you've had any experience with the process or not, um, and if you've filled out any of those surveys. So that's a great question, and any other questions that you guys have, please ask. That's one of the reasons why we like local service ads is because there is the calls come in or the leads come in as phone calls, and they also come in as message leads. Although the messaging system that Google uses is a little wonky right now because the business gets a notification, or they can get a notification on their cell phone through text, but they can't engage with the person through text. What the text does is it just notifies the business owner that they can then respond to the business owner via email and or via the app. Um, and so this is why it's really important, like we said earlier, to have artificial intelligence to respond to that prospect that's coming in so that you get that little blurb at the bottom that says, um, the blurb at the bottom that says typically replies in minutes as opposed to hours, etc., because that will significantly increase the number of leads that you're getting from the LSA platform. So another question is thoughts on automatic suspensions, and sometimes accounts doesn't get reimbursed by Google. I haven't heard that accounts are not getting reimbursed by Google too much. Automatic suspensions, I don't know what those suspensions would be coming from. Even after you appeal it multiple times. Interesting. Accounts doesn't automatic suspensions, and sometimes accounts doesn't get reimbursed by Google. Okay. Yeah, that shouldn't happen. Reinstated after. Okay. So accounts doesn't sometimes accounts doesn't get reinstated by Google. I think what you're referring to is the automatic suspensions that businesses can sometimes get for doing certain things, and then even after you appeal, yeah, sometimes and it's a very good thing actually to go and appeal the leads that you're getting from Google through the local service ads platform. If you can appeal, go through the appeal process, because we have had success in that process and going through that process. Um, so with that, Corey, what other things do you think are applicable to business owners, that would help them to get more leads, get more qualified leads, through either pay per click or local service ads or Google Business Profile?
Um, so I guess one of the other things that we kind of do as well at our agency is the reason why we're able to get good results often is we not only just focus on ads, but we focus heavily on landing pages because that's more than half of the equation as to how many leads you're going to get as per your budget and investment of what you have put into it.
Mhm.
That said, okay, what do you do to get your landing pages, to get your campaigns working? That a lot of that also automatically could be transferred over to your organic strategy. And granted, yes, the organic, doesn't get too much love anymore. There's very few people that actually get to past the map section on Google and get to the organic section. But what we're finding is um, you know, those pages will rank well. There's a, ultimately people have gotten away from using what they call like with or as people label them doorway pages. And they'll create
Yeah.
different pages for different services in different cities in the geographic area that you cover. We're seeing they rank really well. Um,
Mhm.
and if you can make those pages unique enough, write different text for them, they rank really well. And what we're doing is we're doing these pages anyway for our ad campaigns to be very successful because somebody wants to that they're from a particular city that with only 25,000 people in a big metro area. They want to see that city name that they're in on the ad on the landing page. The same page is a foundation for our organic rankings to come up as well. And we kind of I think that people try to send all the organic traffic to one page, and I think that's a mistake. And if you think about the pay per click, what gets it to work, and how that should work for the organic, because ultimately it's the same thing. Google just wants to find the right page for the user. If that user is looking
Yes.
for a company in a specific sub area of the city, well, they don't want to see
Yep.
the major metro mentioned to them. And if they see that and they're confused or whatnot, then they come back to Google, click on something else, and you've defeated the purpose of actually getting ranked in the first place. So once you've kind of checked all the boxes, you've got the map rankings, you got the LSA, you got the Google ads going. That would be the other thing that I mentioned. And then beyond
Yeah.
that, the Microsoft ads. So many people
Mhm.
don't do those still. And there's some
Mhm.
markets where local services that's 30% of the profit that we're generating from search engine advertising. So, and it's so easy
Mhm.
to do. Anything that works on Google will work on Bing for the most part. And it's very rare that
Yeah.
Bing won't work and Google will. So
Mm.
if you want extra money on, that's start those up as well.
Good. Okay, two really good ideas. And by the way, lead sharks, I'm gonna get to your comment there. Love it. Thanks for the interaction. You guys are like talking back and forth in there. Thanks, Carlo, for the comments. AI will definitely help businesses for local service ad accounts that don't get leads. Has starting a new accounts help? Yes, I'm going to talk to you about that. Well, I know Kim, you said no, but I'm going to talk about it in a different way. Before I wanted because there's an angle to that maybe you didn't think about. I agree with you 100%, Corey, that creating what we call a city page on your website that is locally focused or focused on those city keywords, the geotag keywords, and the main keyword that the business is looking for, thus creating a long tail keyword, which is the geography, and then the main keyword as the main focus for that page, and then doing that for multiple different cities does work. It does work for organic, so that they show up in the organic section. And what it does is it also helps them rank higher on Google Business Profile. If you use something like Yoast or something like that that allows you to identify, the keyword optimization that you need to do for the website, that will literally turn, it's like red light, yellow light, green light. It shows you when you've got a green light where you put in the keywords in the right quantity, in the right places, in the right H1, H2, H3 tags, etc., in order to get you the results that you want to for both the website ranking down below, which about 5 to 10% of people click in that on the websites down below. The other 90% click in either, like we've been talking about, local service ads at the top, pay per click just below that, and then Google Maps typically just below that. So, and then you get the added benefit of sending that keyword optimization to the Google Business Profile page. What you'll find when you do that optimization on the website, as the website ranks, so will the Google Business Profile. Typically, you'll see the businesses that are ranking down below with the websites are also going to rank in the three pack on the maps. Okay,
Cool.
um, Yeah, so for local service ads accounts, they don't that yeah, we started doing, SEO years ago, and but some of these strategies still haven't changed. It's crazy how amazing or how stay in vogue for and they work for local service as accounts that don't you get leads. Has starting a new account helped? So I would say potentially. If you start a new account, and one of the things that we get access to as local service ads partners is we get access to a list that can tell us, and we can't share the list under NDA, but we can tell you where there's the least competition and where there's the most search volume specifically in the local service ads section for your particular vertical in any particular city. So we combine low competition with high search volume for your vertical and your keywords for the LSA platform, and that's how we help you identify where to open up the next best location. And so in that sense, you know, if you if you're not getting leads from one local service ads account, I would potentially try to open up another one in another city. Just it's worth it. I mean, I have attorneys, a personal injury attorney that I'm talking to right now. The guy is super smart, and I'm going to give you this strategy. This is one of the strategies that kind of, got me on the, on the, you know, on people's radar screens. Is that what he's doing is and what he's done is he's opened up at least, I'd say, 10 to 15 different locations. As a small attorney, he's not that big. He found out in his state of Louisiana that by actually going after some of these small cities and just creating a low budget, he wouldn't get a lot of leads, but he would get enough in order to get the quantity that he needed. When you cumulatively added up all the locations that he had, it made complete sense, because what he's optimizing is the radius, which is how close that business is to that searcher. And if you've got locations all over the state, then you've effectively optimized for the entire locally for the radius for the entire state. So he said, okay, well, I'm just going to do this outside of Louisiana, and he's doing that right now. He was just calling me from North Carolina, because nobody in his office wanted to go and set up a new office there and, like, get the desk and get the business card and get everything, put the placard outside like you need to in order to set up a new Google Business Profile page and video all of it. So he's there for a week to set up another location and put another fishing pole in the water. And that's the key to success for the combination of Google Business Profile and local service ads. Because what you do if you do that is you got not just one fishing pole in the water with Google Business Profile, you've got two. And if you know where to put that fishing pole where there's a bunch of fish with the data that we have, then you can really leverage that and get really good results. So I hope that makes sense. Carlos said AI will definitely help with this. Yes, I agree. Communication, 100%. I heard having good local SEO on website helps local service ads. It can. I can't. I know it helps more with Google Business Profile, not as much that we've seen, and we've seen hundreds, if not thousands, of accounts, and that's one of the things that really helps us. And I know you, Corey, as well, to help you guys make the proper decisions. I get calls all the time from guys that are like, I just don't know what to do. And what they're doing is they're just guessing. Well, with us, you don't have to guess. There might not be a lot of levers to pull with local service ads, but we pulled all the levers for all the different verticals in all the different cities. And so we know what you can do and cannot do. It's more of what we're going to prevent you from losing than it is from us what we're going to actually get you to gain. I have so many businesses that call me and they say, "Oh my gosh, I wish I would have called you sooner, because now we have no call volume." And those guys we can't take on, because we can't prove to Google that they're going to do anything differently, because we don't even have the call volume for them to actually prove anything differently. So different pages, locations, keywords will help. Is that true? Um, Not necessarily. Hesitate to invest in SEO just for LSA. I agree. I still would do SEO for all the reasons that I stated previously, because you're going to get that website to rank. And when the website ranks, your Google Business Profile is going to rank. And then, look, it can't hurt your local service ads page. I think for a local business owner, what I would do, I mean, if you're really looking for leads and you can handle more leads, as long as your cost per acquisition is below what you can handle. In other words, as long as you're getting, in my opinion, at least a 3x return on ad spend. Meaning, if you're spending $300 and you're generating 900, that's pretty darn good. Wouldn't you agree, Corey?
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, I just, so let me know what other questions you guys have. I've got another call here in a bit, but I wanted to just address all these things. If anybody wants to get a hold of you, how can they get a hold of you, Corey? Because I know that, I want to be mindful of your time as well.
Well, I of course have my YouTube channel. It's, you can search for it. It's just type in guaranteed PPC. You can find my channel here on YouTube. If you wanted to reach out to me personally, you could just simply reach out to me on my site. It's guaranteedppc.com, and you could just fill out the form there or whatnot, and you can start the conversation with me that way.
Yeah, and I would, same with us. If you have any questions, you can go to our website, accelerateyourmarketing.com, and then you can click the contact us button, or just you can also even text us at 619-304-5155. Again, that's 619-304-5155. I know that Corey's information should be in the description, and so is ours, so you can go there. But you know, before we go, what final comments do you have for anybody that's really trying to, get great results in for their local business, or yeah, their local business?
Yeah, just I think I pretty well covered the high points on what I'd like to share. Just to sum everything up, though, like what I've said today, the more relevant you are to for your user and figuring out those three things I mentioned before. Can you do it? You cover my area. Can I trust you? The better off you're going to be, and the more money you're going to ultimately make. And that may
Mhm.
simply go as far as well, just to give you one off the wall example, having local phone numbers. If you cover more than one area code in your service area, not having one phone number for everybody to see, because people see that. And I know from our own data that you'll get about 15% more calls if they see a local area code versus a non local area code. There's a
Yeah.
lot of little things like that that you could do for sure that you're not doing. If you just ask yourself those fundamental questions, put those things into place, you'll do considerably better for yourself.
Yeah, I agree. I think that just the simple, it's the blocking and tackling, and the just 1 degree shift in what a business owner is doing, like it's sometimes it's the small things that make a big difference, like using local area codes, like you're saying. It makes a huge difference, especially if you're putting that on a Google business profile page. The reason why we focus on just generating local leads on Google, and therefore we only work with Google business profile optimization and local service ads, because they're local. And that's why we go to Corey for, for everything else, because it we don't do pay per click. We focus on just those two strategies. And I would encourage you that if you're looking to hire somebody, that you do focus on that. You hire somebody that is focused on one or two strategies at the most, and that's it. Because if you don't, they're going to be it. They're going to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. And these campaign types, like pay per click, local service ads, Google business profile, they change so frequently. Okay, that if you don't have somebody that is on top of them, you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. I talk to a lot of business owners every day, and they continually are told, yeah, we do this or that, and we also do we can do local service ads for you. It's easy. And yeah, I see you laughing. I mean, it's exactly, it's like, oh my gosh, that can lead to big challenges. And one more thing before we go is, lead sharks, how do you guys help businesses handle sales processes? I've dealt with businesses that get leads, but it seems they don't close enough sales during the cost of signups. By the way, if you're watching this after the fact, put comments in here, because I will highlight these comments in our future videos, and answer the questions, and I'll get back to you. We'll get back to you personally. The sales process. This is why we're leveraging AI, because we found the lowest hanging fruit to get the sales conversion is to do what Harvard is talking about. Okay, so there's a Harvard study. Look it up. Google, if you have a second, please do this. It's the you can Google Harvard um, Harvard study, the short lifespan of sales leads or sales prospects. And you'll see there's a PDF there from Harvard. And what they found in this study that was, I think, done like in 2013 or 2011 with over 2,500 businesses, they found if you just got back to a business within an hour versus after an hour, that you're 7 times more likely to convert that lead. This is why we're leveraging artificial intelligence. And the other stat is that I think it was 60% or more businesses um, respond to a customer after 1 hour. 60 to 70% after 1 hour, guys. Okay, it's and actually 25% never respond, and I think and about 25% or 20% respond after 24 hours. So you can see that, you know, the results that we're getting from businesses is abysmal in terms of, you know, our response rate or our response time. And this is exactly the reason why we're leveraging AI, because it solves that problem and it will generate more leads for you. So I have worked with you. You guys do a good job. Oh, thanks, man. Thanks, Brisa. Thanks. Thanks, Brisa. Hopefully you guys learned something. Um, thank you so much, Corey. It was great talking to you. I know we started a little bit late today. Thanks for hanging in there, guys. Let me know what questions you have. Call us anytime. Text us 619-304-5155. Our information is down below. And talk to you soon, Corey.
Yep. Thanks for having me. See you
You
later.
bet. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.